what if you didn't have blood? Well, you wouldn't be alive. Your cells would suffocate without oxygen, starve without nutrients, and be defenseless against infection. Your blood is a special connective tissue that flows throughout your body. It transports oxygen, carbon dioxide, nutrients, hormones, and waste. It also fights infections and helps maintain homeostasis, keeping your internal environment stable. Have you ever wondered what blood is made of? You'll have the answer by the end of this video. Imagine spinning a blood sample at very high speed, a process called centrifugation. Something fascinating happens. The blood separates into 3 distinct layers. A pale yellow liquid at the top, a thin white layer in the middle, and a deep red layer at the bottom. The pale yellow fluid at the top is called plasma. It's the lightest component and makes up about 55% of your blood. The deep red layer at the bottom is made up of red blood cells, which are heavier and sink. These cells give blood its red color due to a protein called hemoglobin. And that thin white layer in the middle? That's the Buffy coat, which contains white blood cells and platelets. Together, red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets are known as the formed elements of blood. So, your blood has 2 main components. The first is plasma, the straw-colored liquid, and the second is formed elements, which consist of red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. When you remove the cells from blood, what remains is plasma, a pale yellow fluid. It's made up of 91.5% water and 8.5% solutes. Of those solutes, about 7% are proteins like albumin, globulins, fibrinogen, and more. Now what are red blood cells? Also known as erythrocytes, red blood cells are some of the most important cells in your blood. Their main job? Carrying oxygen from your lungs to the rest of your body, and bringing carbon dioxide from the tissues back to the lungs. They're biconcave discs, round and flat with a dip in the center. This shape increases surface area for better gas exchange. They're red because of hemoglobin, the iron-containing protein that carries oxygen. Now let's learn about white blood cells. Also called leukocytes, white blood cells are the body's protectors, fighting infections and foreign invaders as part of your immune system. They're actually colorless, which is why they're called white blood cells. White blood cells are divided into 2 groups, granulocytes and agranulocytes. Granulocytes have visible granules and agranulocytes don't. Granulocytes consist of neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils. Neutrophils are the most common granulocytes, eosinophils fight parasites, and basophils are the rarest granulocytes and are responsible for releasing histamine in your body during allergic reactions. Agranulocytes consist of lymphocytes and monocytes. There are 3 types of lymphocytes: B cells, T cells, and NK or natural killer cells. Monocytes are the largest WBCs. They become macrophages and clean up debris. Each type of white blood cell plays a vital role in keeping you healthy. Last but not least, platelets, also called thrombocytes, are tiny cell fragments that help stop bleeding. They're loaded with chemicals that trigger clotting when a blood vessel gets injured. They help form a fibrin mesh that seals the wound and creates a stable blood clot. You can visualize through this diagram how platelets help your wound stop bleeding. Here's an illustration showing what your blood looks like under a microscope so you get a better idea of how these cells actually look. Now you might be wondering, where do all these blood cells come from? How are they actually made? Subscribe and stay tuned, because in the next video, we'll be diving into the birthplace of your blood cells, also known as the bone marrow.